talking to the great Charley Casserly, former GM of the Redskins and Texans. Now you can watch them on NFL Network and NBC Sports Washington. You mentioned the Redskins, big Monday Night Football game for them. They, of course, have started the season 0-2.
This is basically Code Red game 3 weeks in.
Yeah. The Bears haven't done anything offensively, of course, have a great defense. How do you see this game playing out tonight?
Well, I think it'll be for the Redskins to win, it's going to have to be a low-scoring game. So what they're going to have to do is not give up the easy touchdowns. You got to believe the Bears are going to take shots deep on them and try to get something out of it here. Trubisky, keep him in the pocket. He'll make mistakes. Don't let him run the football. That was the book on him last year. Just people didn't do it consistently. They have done it consistently in the first 2 games this year. Bear defense is for real. The Redskins, to run the ball, you got to spread them out. You can't stand there. You can't slug with them. Their weaknesses, I think you can throw on their corners if you have time. So that really will be the key. And I think, the safety, Clinton Dix, we saw him. I mean, the guy's going to play out in the beltway. He's going to be so deep, okay? So, and he can't make plays when you get to him. So, and Buster Skrine at the nickel corner. But the question is, do you have time?
Speaking of corners, what do you see on film from Josh Norman? I mean, as a fan, just watching these games, it looks like he just can't run anymore, can't keep up with the fast guys. He's terrible.
All of that was there last year. He played conservative last year because he knew he had lost his speed. This is my opinion. When he presses, he won't put his hands on the guy, but most corners don't now, and that's wrong. Why press him if he's going to turn and run with the guy? Stay off 5-10 yards, then run with the guy. But a lot of corners do that, and I don't think he puts his hands on him because he knows that he misses and he can't catch up. He was never a great off-cover guy because he doesn't have top speed, and his transition out of the pedal wasn't great. He seems to have lost another step or two. A couple of times there's problems with other players covering areas, so it looks worse than it is. But the reality is people have targeted this guy, and they're going to go after this guy and run deep. He's basically a zone corner who's protecting himself on the speed at this point in time.
All right, I've been focused on Montez Sweat, and it's not fair. Kid's played 2 games of real football, but I've watched him in the preseason, watched him in 2 regular season games. I don't know how closely you've watched him at all, Charlie, but just haven't seen a lot yet. Haven't seen that burst, that speed that everybody talked about in the draft that we were all excited about. Haven't seen a lot of pass rushing moves. He's had some plays against the run, actually. But in terms of actually pressuring the quarterback and getting a hand on him, hadn't been there yet. Have you been able to watch him at all?
I take a little different approach to him. First of all, I watched him in college as opposed to 99% of the people that talked about the guy.
Right.
The guy was not a top pass rusher in college. What he was a speed guy on the outside when pressure. Needed to get stronger, needed to get counter moves. He didn't have any other moves other than an outside move. Well, that's not going to happen between OTAs in the spring and training camp. Those things happen over the course of a year because of the time. They don't have time with these guys. They don't practice much anymore.
Right.
So standing up was a big question. Some guys can't stand up. This guy has shown he can stand up, play the run, set the edge. Than he has been so far. But that was encouraging to me. I've seen him get off the ball and have some explosion upfield. Now, pass rushers are home run hitters. If you get 1 sack a game, you're the greatest pass rusher known to man because nobody averages 16 sacks a season. Right? So you get a couple pressures a game, you're doing a hell of a job. Now, does that mean you're a top pass rusher? No. So I've seen flashes, okay? I figured it was going to take some time with him and take the year. The most encouraging thing to me is the guy can stand up. If he couldn't stand up, then you're saying, whoa, wait a minute now. We drafted a nickel rusher in the first round. Who's going to play on first and second down? So, to me, I'm taking a more patient approach because I know where he was coming from. The hype was not – I never had the hype on the guy. Again, I watched the guy.
Right.
So, but I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged with the guy.
All right.
So,
Charlie, I know you're not in the business of firing people, and you respect and appreciate these guys on the staffs. And but if the Bears roll out, 27 to 34 points tonight, do you think Jay has to make a move on the defensive staff?
No. Okay. The defense here. First of all, the defense was overhyped. All right. I never bought that. I thought the defensive line was strong but had no depth. Guess what? You lose Jonathan Allen, and Brantley never played preseason. All right, so now you got Settle, who was average in preseason. So you got back to the same problem you were a year ago. The inside linebackers are very average. We were just talking about Norman at corner. The other corner position, Dunbar, he's inconsistent. Moreau's been hurt. Moreland's the best corner as a nickel guy. Mm-hmm. So, Kerrigan's Kerrigan. And we talked about Sweat. Have we had the production from Sweat? No. I see promise in him, which is the encouraging thing. But all the stuff on the defense was inaccurate. And I said it before camp. I said it during camp. Maybe I was the lone voice. So now, would I like to see him pressure more and change some things up? Yeah. But we just got through talking about the corners. Okay. So, and you cover that by zone. You have to play zones when you pressure. And you hope you get there. And if you don't, they got to make a completion and you got to make the tackle. So, I don't see fire in the coaches. I'm not a big fire in the coaches guy,
right?
As you pointed out there. So, but I just look at the personnel. I can't tell you what's going on in the meetings and what's the calls, stuff like that. I know enough to have been in all that stuff and understand when a coach isn't producing.
What about when
I can't judge it from tape.
What about when Jay says things like, we're obviously not getting through to the guys, like they're not hearing us, that kind of thing? What does that mean? Well,
it means Jay's a little desperate when he makes those statements now.
Yeah.
That you don't say those things. Now, to answer your question, it's two things. Either you have coaches that aren't communicating or you're trying to do too much with the players. I've seen that before where, things, they changed the secondary coach because of a communication. Now, I know Ray Horton. Ray Horton's a good football coach. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's the player that isn't handling the thing. Last week when they threw the ball down the middle, it was Dominic Rogers-Cromartie, the left corner, who they were asking to cover the middle of the field when his receiver went away. I got to be honest with you. I haven't heard that happen many times. And he couldn't do it anyway.
Right.
So, again, you got to be in the meetings to know what they're being asked to do. But right. That's an alarm. It's either the players can't handle it or the coaches are giving them too much or not communicating. It's definitely a red light, though. He opened up something in the back room.
If you had to pick a side, are you picking the Bears tonight?
Yeah.
You are.
The defense is too strong. And I think that they can win a close game because of that. But they are vulnerable because of the quarterback. So there is a chance if they can get some time, get on the corners of the Bears, and if Trubisky plays like Trubisky's playing, they're going to have trouble scoring. I think what they'll do is this. I think they'll get Cohen more involved. They get the tight end back, which is huge for them, Burton, and I think they'll scale down what they're doing with the quarterback. Not that they're doing too much, but they'll find the 3 or 4 things this guy's good at and try to open the game with him with those things and get some confidence going. But they don't have a big number one receiver, so if you play your assignments, they can't score fast on you.
So Charlie,
there is a chance.
Some of the undefeated teams we expect. You've got the Patriots, of course, undefeated. The Chiefs undefeated. The Rams off to a 3-0 start. Of the other teams, who impresses you the most? You've got Green Bay at 3-0, Dallas at 3-0, and even the Bills at 3-0.
Niners too. Niners 3-0.
And the Niners.
A lot of there. The Cowboys look legit. They're better this year than last year. The change in the offensive coordinator has helped them. There's more play action, more RPOs, so they're more dangerous throwing the football. They look better on defense. They've grown a little bit. Their players are just a little bit better this year, and they're getting Quinn back. That helps them as another pass rusher, which they didn't have. Buffalo's a surprise to me because they're doing it with a team that they're playing very good on defense, and they don't have a lot of big names on defense. They're very well coached there. I haven't seen years he's playing better. That's a team that's surprising me. They helped them at receiver. They got Beasley from Dallas, who Dallas never used enough, and Brown from the Ravens, who can give you maybe a half season. Now, that's what happened there. He gave him a half season, and really they changed quarterbacks and didn't throw the ball deep after that. So probably it's not fair for me to say that. Green Bay has been very impressive. Their defense is much better than it was a year ago. They've added players to it. The players they have are playing better. They've run the ball with Aaron Jones, which they didn't do before because they're afraid he's going to get hurt. So we'll see if he can stay healthy. The quarterback is taken to the new offense. They look legit now to go. Them and Dallas look really legit. I mean, Buffalo's playing well. Now, as far as San Francisco, we knew that the defensive line should be good because finally they got pass rushers. They had no pass rushers before. Now they got some pass rushers in there, and that makes everybody else better. We all thought Garoppolo could play well. He's played well. And Shanahan knows how to run the football. They thought they were going to do. So we'll see if they can sustain it with their secondary and their wide receivers. But, Dallas and Green Bay, I think they're going to be there in December. It'd be very good in December.
All right, Charlie, appreciate the time as always. That's Charlie Casserly, former Redskins and Texans GM. Thanks, pal.
Thank you, Charlie.